Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to complete the square. So sometimes polynomials don't factor so nicely, and in situations like those we're going to have to use this technique called completing the square. I have the steps written up in the corner over here. So step 1 says look at the x term and take half of its coefficient. Step 2 says square that number, and step 3 says add 0, and you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. Now, before we jump into things, let's talk a little bit about what the goal is for completing the square. What we're going to want to do is take this polynomial and break it down into a perfect square plus a constant. Alright, let's start. So, step 1 says look at the x coefficient and take half of it. So we have 2 as our x coefficient. We're going to take half of 2, so that's going to give us 1. Now, step 2 says square it. So 1 squared is going to give us 1. Now we have to add 0. And what I mean by that is we're going to rewrite our polynomial, but we're going to add this number that we found, in this case 1, and subtract it, effectively adding 0 and not changing the problem. So we have x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 1 plus 3. Now if we only look at this first part of the polynomial here, notice that this is a perfect square, and these two constants we can combine into one term. So if we factor this polynomial here and combine these constants, we get x plus 1 times x plus 1 plus 2. Now since these terms are the same, we can combine them and rewrite this as x plus 1 squared plus 2. And that's what it means to be a perfect square, to where you can rewrite the factorization of it as the same polynomial squared, because this x plus 1 is still a polynomial. Okay, so now let's look at this example down here. We have x squared plus 6x plus 11. So the first thing we're going to want to do is look at the x coefficient and take half of it. So we have 6x. So that means we're going to need 6 divided by 2, which is going to give us 3. Then step 2 says square it. So 3 squared is going to give us 9. Now we have to add 0. So we're going to rewrite our polynomial adding 9 and subtracting 9, effectively not changing the problem. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 9 plus 11. Now, just like before, if we just look at this first part of the polynomial, notice this is also a perfect square. This is going to happen every time when we're completing the square. This is the perfect square, x plus 3. And these two constants we can combine. So this equals x plus 3 times x plus 3 plus 2. Now we can rewrite this as x plus 3 squared plus 2. And that's how you complete the square. I hope this helps, and thanks for watching.